Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Wednesday Night Live. Glad you are with us tonight. I'm Pastor Galen Russell. I serve here at Christ Church as our pastor, and I have been creating this day many things that are coming for the future, and I want to share a lot of things with you today. I'm glad you have joined in, and if you are new to Christ Church's ministries, we're glad you are here. Welcome. I typically start off with a coffee mug thought. This is one of those creative things that I've tried to do over the years of my ministry to put together a quote that is hopefully meaningful and inspirational in certain ways. So my August 19th coffee mug thought for tonight is, there is always a new day coming, but it's the old ones we learn from the most. Think about that for a few moments and ponder that as I share with you our devotional for tonight. I've written devotionals for the Net, which is our newsletter called the Net. And prior to that, I used to write them for the other churches that I served. And I always call my article Sharing the Journey. And tonight's Sharing the Journey article is called Keeping an Eye on the Prize. The text that I'm thinking about with this in mind is from 2 Timothy chapter 4, verse 7. And Paul writes these words, I have fought the good fight. I have finished the race. I have kept the faith. Well, you know the old saying, you can't see the forest for the trees. And that means I think that sometimes we can get caught up so much in the details of the things that we are engaged in that we actually lose sight of the overall goal, the big picture. The larger viewpoints sometimes can easily get obscured. Well, Paul is saying near the ending of his life that he has kept his eye on the overall picture, even though that journey has led him through struggles and imprisonment, even trials and beatings. But through it all, he kept the faith. He still reached his overarching goal, which was to spread the word about God and Jesus Christ to the world. And when he got to Rome, well, that was the world to Paul, because Rome was the world capital of the civilized and modern world for that age, back almost 2,000 years ago. That idea, though, I think is an important message for us in today's environment of COVID, especially as we are a part of a church living in this environment, and you and I are doing that. But we're also living in a nation that has some terrible and very demanding concerns. But thinking about us as a church, we are engaging in so much that is new and so much that is forcing us to reshape how we do ministry, thinking outside the box. And while this has some very exciting and invigorating parts to it, it also comes with a fair amount of pain. But no matter what, whether it's exciting or invigorating, we keep our eye on the overall picture. The goal of us as Christ Church, as being a community of faith that reaches out and welcomes all people while sharing the good news of the gospel of Jesus Christ and promoting the love of God and the love of neighbor and declaring that our faith community is a safe place and a holy place, that's keeping our eye on the ball, keeping our eye on the overall picture, the forest, if you will, while we walk among the trees. Now, of course, we do this with some positive results and some mistakes that we make along the way, but we keep focused on it. And the same is true, I think, for where we are in our nation and in our society. We certainly know that there are things, the basic tenets of our democracy, are either feeling like they become unlearned, or they have grown to be a past memory. We've forgotten some of these things. This whole idea that if you don't agree with me on a social issue or a political issue, you become my enemy. That's what it means, I think, to get lost in the weeds. To have that mentality, I think, loses sight of the value of listening to each other, which may be part of the forest. That we've lost sight of the greater good of what it means to be a healthy society. The idea that if you disagree with me, that means that you must convert me to your way of thinking. And if failing that, then I can't relate to you and you can't relate to me. That is a tragedy. It's a tragedy because it affects the overall goal of living with one another, accepting each other's diversity, learning from each other. We lose sight of the forest, that there is unity within diversity. And somehow, over the last several decades, the art of compromise seems to be losing ground. Somehow, compromise is seen as a sign of weakness instead of a way to develop the greater good. Instead, we dig in our heels and we get stubborn, and we forget to see that the greater society benefits much, much more when we listen to and learn from each other. Friends, I believe that our faith journey, our relationship with God, our understandings of the core values of who we are as people of faith, these invite us to keep our eyes on the prize, keep our eyes on the ball, keep our eyes focused on the forest, and not get so lost in the walk among the trees that we can't see. Because the value of seeing each other as part of the whole is a great value. It's a good fight to wage, if we even have one to wage. So let's keep our eyes on the prize. Let's fight the good fight, and let's move forward in faith. So our prayer can be tonight that we trust in God's power and strength, that we may become part of the greater community that unites us even in our diversity. And we all say thanks be to God. Amen. Well, friends, let me highlight several of the events that are happening in the life of our church. Some of these events you've heard about already, and some definitely have just sprouted into being today. And I'm delighted to share with you a lot of these. As you may recall, last Sunday, we were scheduled to be outside in the pavilion, worshiping outside. But because the weather was dicey and iffy, the forecast projected among different forecasts between 50, 60, 70% of a chance of rain. With new electronic equipment, with electronic keyboard, with guitar planned to be played in worship, we decided, you know what, let's not take the chance. We moved indoors. So just as a regular basis, if the weather is treated poorly, I'm giving us a poor forecast, we're going to treat it like we might treat a snowstorm. So just pay attention to around 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock on Saturday. If the change to go inside or change is different than what we've planned, watch your email. We'll let you know the update. And that's one of the things that we can do to help you become aware of what's happening for worship time. So this coming Sunday, right now the forecast is for thunderstorms in the later part of the afternoon, but the morning for now looks pretty good. So I'm hoping that we will be outside worshiping at the pavilion this Sunday, August 23rd. Worship time is 9:30. And if you want to catch it on YouTube at this station, our YouTube station, we will have it available for you right away, right after worship at 10:30. So if you are even as far away as the West Coast, like my mom is, tune in, Mom, at 7:30 your time. It won't be live, but it'll be the next best thing, because as soon as it's over, we'll be able to upload and have it available for you in an almost real time. So thank you, Mandy, for checking in, and Joanne Carroll for checking in. You can use the live chat feature, everybody. And thank you for your positive affirmation of my thoughts for our devotional tonight. I appreciate that. Just to let you know that ushers are still needed for the summer and fall months for our outdoor worship services. Please email Tracy as soon as you can to express your interest in helping with that. I encourage you to do that. We are also thinking right now that summer worship services will be at 9:30 all the way up until September 6th. And our worship services, in all likelihood, unless the weather is bad, will be outside. So that's our standard for now. We likely will continue outdoor worship services as long as we can, providing that the weather holds. And it may be a little chilly, so you may have to bring your heavier coats on the fall months. As long as we are under the restriction of 25 people as the limit for an in-house gathering, and that's the limit that's set forth by Governor Wolf, that we will honor that as best as we can and continue to worship outside. September 13th, though, is our Spirit Sunday. And right now, this is not confirmed. I want to clarify that this is not confirmed. But right now, we might, as long as we worship outside, still have just one worship service broadcast as soon as worship is over. So that's our thinking right now. We'll let you know for sure. That is not clarified and decided upon. But September 13th will be the time that we go to a later worship time of 10:30. And hopefully that will be consistent. And we'll let you know more as things unfold. Thank you for checking in, Nadine. She's greeting everybody. Tracy is on board. Thank you. Welcome. I'm glad you're here with us. Tuesday nights, friends, the Contemporary Christian Conversation class has its gathering at 8 p.m. this coming Tuesday night. It will be Tuesday the 25th. The link is available on our Realm site as well as on our Facebook Christ Church Members and Friends group. I also want to let you know that families with youth from 6th grade on up to 12th grade, why don't you think about, in fact, why don't you plan? Come to S'mores and More, a youth event at Christ Church coming up on Sunday night, August 23rd, 7 o'clock. We invite you to come. Already haven't eaten dinner, but come ready for some s'mores so that we can make around the campfire. We'll do some fun games, too, that will lend themselves to some social distancing. We'll do some singing around the campfire. I'm going to bring my guitar out, and we'll play some songs and have some good time with that stuff. So come on out. In fact, all of our youth, I encourage you, look for a special mailing coming to you in your post box. Some mail coming to our high school youth and our 678ers youth. Hello, Denise Clissold. She says she's enjoying coming to Tuesday nights. That's wonderful. The contemporary class, but also Wednesday nights doing the Wednesday Night Live. I'm glad you're with us. Now, I said that some things unfolded right before our eyes today, and I'm excited to share with you this news. If you haven't seen it already, I really hope that you do see it. Go check your email out very soon. You will have seen an email from Christ Church, from the Realm program, that September 19th and 20th, that's a Saturday and a Sunday, that is going to be, are you ready for it? Our Associate Pastor Call Weekend. Yes, this is such great news. Reverend Fa Lane has been invited by our search committee, made the recommendation to our ministry committee that took the recommendation to consistory, and consistory voted to yes, let's invite Pastor Fa to come and be with us on Sunday morning, actually Saturday mid-afternoon probably, to meet and greet with us on Saturday afternoon for a variety of events. Then Sunday morning to also be available with us during our activities on Sunday morning. Pastor Fa will lead us in worship, and I will be there, and a lay leader, I believe it's Sharon Blau, will be there assisting us in worship. And Pastor Fa will offer her what's called a candidating sermon, or what's also known as trial sermon. So that's a wonderful opportunity to hear Fa speak, to experience her leadership in worship. Details about all of the other events, the meet and greet things, the possibilities of online events, all of that will be coming forth because I have a small little task force that's going to be working on those details. This is very exciting, everybody, because not only do we get a chance to meet and greet Pastor Fa, but we also get a chance to call her, if we desire this, to be our new and next associate pastor. So this is a wonderful opportunity. Please do plan on coming to church that day, because we're going to be outside. And the idea right now is to make it possible that we can be outside, rain or shine. And then we don't have a limit on how many people can gather. You can still sit in clusters that are separated from each other for social distancing. We still will encourage you to wear masks, but we will be able, we believe, to broadcast live and find a way to do that so that we can reach not only those of you who come in a safe place, safe from COVID, safe to be with each other, but we can also reach our online community, that if you are unable to come and would desire to watch it online, then you will be able to participate. We're working out the details for that, so please, everybody, stay tuned. Stay tuned to the details that will come up, but plan to participate in worship. And following worship service will be our specially called congregational meeting for the express purpose of voting on whether to call Pastor Fa as our new associate pastor. A very exciting time, a very future-oriented time, a time to know that even though we're in a COVID environment, we still will do ministry and do it well with high quality. So I hope you feel the excitement that I feel about this. This is very much an energizing opportunity for us online, and also for us when we can gather together as a community of faith. So plan on that. Tomorrow night, friends, a special event. Our president of consistory, Steve Stauffer, will be available at the church pavilion to entertain you with any of your questions, to come and talk with him. It's called Time with Steve. It begins tomorrow at 6:30. Come in, drop in. It's an open house sort of feel. You can talk with him about anything that's on your mind regarding Christ Church's ministries, or regarding the concerns that we might face as people of faith, concerns about our nation, whatever is on your mind. Come and spend some time with Steve. That's a wonderful opportunity to be up to date with what's cooking in the life of our church and what's interesting to you. Now, friends, we've talked about Realm in multiple times and places. Realm is an opportunity for you to understand what's going on in the life of our church. So here are the next 10 days events. There's nothing going forward from tonight until Sunday. That's specifically a church event. But you can know that Sunday worship is at 9:30 outside in the pavilion. Sunday night, S'mores and More, youth event at 7 p.m. Monday, the ministry committee is meeting with finance at 7 p.m., and that's taking place in the library and also on Zoom, if some of those members of those two groups can't attend in person. Tuesday night, as I've mentioned, at 8 o'clock is our contemporary Christian conversation class. Wednesday night is at 6 p.m., the Associate Pastor Call Weekend Planning Task Force will meet on Zoom at 6. Wednesday night, a week from tonight, 7:30, Wednesday Night Live, right here on YouTube channel. Thursday night, next week, music staff meeting at 7 p.m. And then you may not know this, but Saturday from 8:30 a.m. till 3 p.m. on Saturday is the Penn Central Conference annual meeting done all by Zoom. Our delegates and myself, who are Linda Manafo and Ginny Bishop, they will be Zooming in from home to participate in the Penn Central Conference annual meeting. And then, of course, Sunday, August 23rd. No, I take that back. This will be August 30th, would be our worship time out at the pavilion. Another announcement that has come to me by way of Missy Stevens, and she is one of our key coordinators for our social justice group. She has offered some information about voter information, and she has some stuff that we will make public on our web pages and some of our members and friends at Christ Church pages on Facebook. It's a Voter Did You Know sort of article, and you can find out if you are currently registered to vote in Pennsylvania by checking your voter status. And there's a website that is linking you, that can link you to finding out whether or not you are registered to vote, if you're curious about that. And that will be available for you. And if you're not registered, my gosh, it's not too late. Deadline for voter registration is October 19th. And that is to be able to vote in the general election. And there's a website that you can go to register as well. Voter registration requirements include you must be a citizen of the United States for at least a month before the next election. You must be a resident of Pennsylvania, and the election district in which you want to register and vote, you must be there for at least 30 days. You must register 30 days before the next election, and you must be 18 years of age or older. So we'll make that public on our pages for you. Friends, if you would please keep in your thoughts and prayers these folks. Some of these are members and friends of our congregation that you have already known about. Please continue praying for these folks. Mike values our prayers, and as does Denise, as Mike deals with some balance concerns and some concerns about his legs and such. Diane is preparing for her cancer surgery coming up in the first week of September. Rich continues his recovery from the infection in his foot. He tells me that the infection is pretty well cleared up, but he is in what's called a crow boot, which is made of hard resin plastic. Somewhat uncomfortable. He has to take it off every now and again during the day to let his foot breathe because it's non-breathable. So, Rich, we're thinking of you. Jamie continues on hospice care. Kay, his wife, values so much our prayers, and they are thankful for that. Lynn has had that test, and she is on some hormone therapy for her lymphoma. Sharon is now in the process of starting next steps because lung nodules were found on her lungs. So we keep Sharon in our prayers. Sue is undergoing treatment for cancer, but the great news is that her cancer has not progressed, and her chemotherapy treatments are finished. What great news that is. And radiation therapy will conclude in the next month. So wow, we are very thankful for all of that, and Sue is thankful for the thoughts and prayers that have been offered for her. New to the list, friends, Barb's son, not my Barb, if you're curious, a Barb in the membership of our church. Her son Michael, he has a detached retina and is very concerned for the potential loss of vision. Jen's uncle, Michael, was and still is, I believe, at Lancaster General, is on dialysis and is intubated. He values our prayers. And Jen's mom is preparing for a lung transplant. Please think of Jen and her family. I announced this on Sunday, but I invite your prayers for the Kishbaugh family. George Kishbaugh passed away. He was the son of Gene Steyer and the stepson of Mick Steyer. Gene Steyer, of course, passed away. I'm not remembering how many years ago, but it was a few years ago. So please keep the Kishbaugh family, the Steyer family, in your thoughts and your prayers. That's the latest updates on our members and friends and the joys and the concerns in the life of our church. This coming Sunday, I can tell you that we have a couple of joys that we'll be sharing. Some joys are related to the 80 plus year olds in our congregation. We celebrate the birthdays of those or anybody who is 80 plus years old. Some of the folks that we celebrate are in their 90s, and so that's a great celebration. So I will list those names for us next Sunday. And I can tell you that our worship service next Sunday has a little bit of a different flair in it as well. We will start after our prelude with Carol Bubach offering music. And the neat thing is Carol's going to be actually playing live. Hopefully the weather is good. We'll have our new electronic piano and keyboard out and broadcast and played in the live worship service. So you'll hear actual music, not pre-recorded. So that's really cool. And after that, we're going to center in on worship by recalling the story in a dramatic way. I have 4 different readers. I need one more. I'm looking for one more person that will recall the story of how Moses ended up in the daughter of Pharaoh's care as a baby. Moses as a baby. You remember that story? We'll read through the whole thing, but this will allow us to center in on worshiping as we understand that story. And then our worship will move through some certain parts like hymns that we'll be singing and songs that we'll be doing that move us from Moses as the great liberator of the people out of slavery to Jesus as the Messiah, the great liberator of our souls, taking us out of the bondage of sinfulness. Think about that for Sunday's worship service. We're going to end our worship service with the great song of the civil rights movement, "We Shall Overcome." I hope you tune in. I hope you attend. If the weather is good, please come and share with us outside. Bring your own lawn chair. Bring your own sunglasses, your sunscreen. Bring your own masks. Wear wash your hands, and just be constantly aware of our protocols for safety. We want everybody to be safe. I see no further comments on our live chat page, and we try to end these Wednesday night live streams in 30 minutes. So thank you for joining me tonight. Thank you for hearing about what's happening in the life of our church. Remember some of the highlights. This coming Sunday, worship's at 9:30. 10:30, it'll be available for you online. And thank you to our sound crew who make that possible. Just as soon as worship is over, it's available for you. And also, S'mores and More, Sunday night, our youth, 678ers, and our high school youth come and have some fun times with us. And please, everybody, put on your calendars the weekend of September 19th and 20th. And stay tuned for the details that will come to you. The official details of the special congregational meeting, meaning the agenda, that will be coming to you as per our constitutional bylaws within 2 weeks of the actual meeting. So you'll know exactly what's on the agenda 2 weeks before. And stay tuned for the variety of neat things that will be coming that our planning task force will work on, helping Pastor Fa to become aware of who we are, and we get a chance to be aware of who she is. And we hear her lead worship and preach, and then we will gather as a congregation to vote on whether or not she will become part of our pastoral team here at Christ Church. Important weekend. Put it on your calendars and plan to come to Christ Church in a safe environment. Good night, everybody. May God bless you and keep you. And remember, we are keeping our eye on the ball, our eye on the prize, our eye on the forest of God's ministry that we do among the trees. Peace be with you tonight. Good night.